We are Brightside Theater. Hey, home theater nerds, welcome to Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The home theater podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes. Did that catch you on the hop there, John?
Well, I didn't know if it was ever coming back. It was like blacked out for 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
That video.
Like someone had electrocuted your chair.
Well, I was about to get up and just turn it off.
No, I put that little, I got to take that, if we're going to do any little talking like that, I put a little pause in there because of the delay so that people would see the countdown. But yeah, oh well, hey. And you know what? In the podcast part, nobody sees or hears any of that. So
yeah, well, the thing is, I didn't get the video. I just had a black screen. So I was like, is this ever coming back? Like, I didn't know.
That's weird. There's something on you. It's got to be something on your end. Like,
I don't know, because some weeks, like last week I got it. Some weeks I get it, and some weeks Steve? I don't.
Yeah, so. yeah, I get it. Yeah. Right. I'm cool. I'm hip. Well, I'm with it.
Yeah.
I know.
Notice how he insulted you before the break and then went and muted you straight away so that, you know, your lawyer brain couldn't retort.
My right to reply has been removed.
Exactly.
I feel like my First Amendment rights are being infringed.
It was another.
I'm being oppressed.
Yeah. It was another close call this week. And we were very close to not having a podcast. So I brought the image and added a sounder.
Nice.
I mean, that pretty much says it all. And
I didn't realize you were already down to blasting to, do your foundations for the new theater, Deej. But, well,
they found a salamander, so that was the only course of action. They had to raise it to the ground and start again.
Had to nuke it from orbit just to be sure.
Yeah.
It's the story that just keeps on giving and giving. And it actually hasn't given anything. It's just
it's just taken.
Taken. And
I think you're going to have a pet salamander at the end of it. I think just to give a little bit back.
I've had them too. I've had them, geckos and stuff.
Well, there you go. Now's your time.
Not until we get our occupancy and signed off on everything, and they can't come back onto my property.
Yeah,
not until then. We have no donations this week, so nothing to get put to the front of the show because of that. But this one here, you definitely got to tip your cap to this one. The Mr. and Mrs. Speakers, we'll call them, Johnny Speakers, hosted the Schramms. So let me, there we go. And they tweeted that out.
Deej, help me out.
Go ahead.
Whose family is who? Because I was looking at this and I was trying to work out where one family ends and the next family begins.
Yes.
Do we know?
I'm going to, I'm going to stab in the dark that the girl in the middle with the longer hair, that she's a Schramm. Yeah. I'm going to say.
Right.
I'm going to say 4 to the left, 4 to the right.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
So
alrighty.
I'm just guessing there by the ages of the kids. It's like, I mean, most people group their children same age together, unlike John, where that kind of spread over decades.
What are you talking about? My kids are not. My oldest and my youngest are 5 years apart.
Yeah. But yeah, look at that. They even got the canine in there. I like that. Yeah,
so
pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you were straying into very dangerous water there, guys, because they don't live that far apart from one another, do they? And if one of their children looks like the other one, that's all on you, Deej.
Just meat, so easy.
Well, so you think.
Yeah, but Mikey's wearing
Johnny
the
says,
Dolby surround shirt. I should have worn mine today because I have that exact same shirt as well. So.
4 on the right or mine. That's what we guessed.
Yeah.
There you go.
Notice the 4 on the right are his. Well, he's one of them.
Right.
Yeah, I'm mine. I'm me.
Yeah.
It's all very philosophical. So, I think, therefore I am.
But that was pretty cool. Thanks, Johnny. Johnny, Mr. and Mrs. Speakers hosted the Schramms. So that was really, really cool. That went out on the Twitter community there. Also seen on the Twitter community today, and this is going to be a tough one for you, Steve, I think. I don't know if you noticed this. Did you notice this when you put it out?
Foot.
Oh,
Yes,
dear
I did.
God.
I know. Look, there's a stray foot. It's not my foot. That's just a fake foot that I've got on top of my PlayStation Pro.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, oh, my God.
That's where I left it.
But it's a right foot. You didn't left it. It's a right foot.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's in the right place.
But I have a better image of it than what you well, you did post this image as well.
Yeah, I put them both up. Yeah, in theory. I noticed you're not putting up the Enter the Dragon images of you guys that I spent literally seconds photoshopping.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have like the side afro going there. I don't know what's happening.
I know.
You could have at least tilted my head the right way.
Right, I couldn't work out how to do it.
But I think it's a good look.
Yeah, I think it's very you.
Yeah.
Yeah, see these is in the John Saxon.
It's on
there.
Twitter.
It's all very, very, very poorly photoshopped. But yeah, so this is my tweak of the week. I've just had the home cinema choice stuff finally hung up on the wall. Not by me because I do it wrong. But the guy that came to do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Well, my neighbour that came to do it is about, I swear to you, is about 6'7". He is a monster of a man.
Geez.
Thoroughly nice guy. And trying to squeeze him into the equipment room was not easy in and of itself. But he was blown away by the room. And of course, having put this on the wall, I'd said to him, look, there are wires in the wall. You've got to be careful. Do not nick one of the wires because things will be bad. Right. So he put it on, and he told me after he drilled a little hole and then shined a light through and checked there were no wires, and then put it up. But what was cool is after that I thought, right, well, I better do a vibration test just to make sure it's not going to make a noise on the wall, because I'll have to get some little feet for it or something. Yeah. And there's a foot there. Get a little feet to go on there to stop it from vibrating. And so I dug out the Dolby Atmos demo disc from 2017 and chucked that in, put the sound right up, and then watched a load of Dolby Atmos trailers, and then the opening to Fury Road that's on the disc. And it all sounds great. So not only are all the channels all still working, but it also doesn't vibrate like crazy in the equipment room, because of course that's right on the back wall with all the speakers, and there's a sub right down at the bottom there. So it's very cool. So very pleased to get it up, and as it were, and get it looking good.
Yeah, it looks great. It's kind of a shame it's all in a closet, though. I know it's your media room, but
I know. There have been discussions about that, but but as with all all of the theatre stuff, all the home theatre stuff is all hidden away. It's there if I want someone to come and see it, or if not, no one knows. No one's the wiser. But yeah, no, as I say, there have been conversations about that.
Yeah. Let me guess. The first place you're going to put it was on the front door.
Yeah, on the car, on the bonnet.
People come by and like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, there he goes. Oh, that's
yeah.
So, no, it's cool. Really cool. Yeah, did you find the Enter the Dragon thing? Have you found it? Oh, you did. I see. This is the real one. Obviously, this is not the fake. Yeah. This is the real one, as you can tell that by the brilliant reflection in the mirror.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And I love
and the background around, like the halo background around your head.
Hey, look, it took me several seconds. This is the first time I've done Photoshop on an iPhone.
Nice.
Yeah.
As I was doing it, I thought DJ's going to hate this because it's just so amateurish and crap.
Yeah, because he would have spent half the day doing it.
Yeah,
this one here, you didn't even and you do this all the time. You save it vertically, but you don't crop it.
I couldn't help it. It's how it was looking. I couldn't do it, so that's as close as I could get. Again, it took several seconds. I think it's a new look for you, John. I'm telling you now. You heard it here first.
Just on the side too.
It looks like Looks like the top of a microphone.
I'm wearing one of those British, the hats from Buckingham Palace.
Buzzbees,
but it's just off to the side.
Oh my God.
It's sliding off my head.
What I discovered is that I couldn't find any pictures of you two easily other than go straight to Twitter. So that was all I could do. Because your picture's not on the website now, Deej. You haven't got your picture of you sat in the chair on the website, or if it is, I couldn't find it.
It was this one, wasn't it? That was there.
Well,
but
this one I had set for
all
Twitter.
of us up because it's not just about me anymore. So I put everybody there.
Well, there you go. Well, you're welcome to put this one up if you like. It's fine. I get why you'd want to.
I love like the name badges. It looks like they're not name badges, but you know what I mean. It looks like we're at a karate meeting, and it's like, "Hello, my name is."
This is my lanyard.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my master.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Anyway, as I said, several seconds on my iPhone that did, and I think you can tell the quality of the of my work.
High quality.
High quality.
Awesome.
High. More like high
quality.
Yeah.
So, Mike and Johnny are in the chat here. So Johnny says Mike has a great family, and then Mike right back at him. So does John. That's very nice. Very nice.
Entente cordiale has broken out. We're going to start singing Kumbaya.
I say we're all Kumbaya today.
Yeah.
We had another meeting today. It was Danny Speakers and Nelson. Nelson went to Danny Speakers' house today. Today.
Return visit.
Time. A return visit. Back. They did a home and home. So Danny went down to Nelson's a few weeks ago, and I texted Danny and said, shoot me some pictures. I'll drop them in the show. And they didn't take any. They just hung out.
They're still listening.
Yeah. I'm sure they are. But yeah, so they didn't take any pictures, but they did we had another, community visit with people. So that was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. People starting to do. I was going to try to get over there, but I was back and forth trying to get this thing going today, getting this podcast going so that we didn't have to go.
And you, Mr. Briggs, were up late as well.
Yeah.
Because you texted me as I was getting up.
I know. I was still working on this. Working on this, and then had to go. I mean, things weren't working out, so I had to go to bed, get up, and continue. And trip after trip to the store. Forget it. It's just stupid little things. But hey, nobody cares about how the sausage is made, just how delicious it is, right?
Right.
So that's it. We don't mind talking sausage on this podcast.
No. We like feral pork.
Feral pig.
Here we go. What was that tweet earlier? You picked up on it. You got it right away. I was like, Cirque, you want to chime in on this one?
The teabag.
The team, and I was like,
I didn't see it.
Yeah, Deej was incredibly. Yeah.
Oh, but I didn't see it.
I put a picture up of me when I was watching Scream 6 the other night. More about which later.
Okay.
And I put a teacup up and a thing of chocolate and the disc cover. And Deej in a display of epic, very good eyesight, saw on the teacup there are butterflies, and said, "Oh, is that a Silence of the Lambs cup?" And then I put it rubs the tea bag on its skin, or else it gets hot water again. And that's when Deej was like, "John,"
I said, "Cirque." I was like, "Cirque, you want to chime in on this one?"
Yeah, I completely missed that. Otherwise, because I definitely would have responded. You know that I would have responded to that.
Oh yeah.
So I said, "It's not that kind of tea bag."
Right.
Exactly. Good stuff. Now, Van Gogh.
Yeah, Van Gogh. Yeah.
Now I want some sausage.
Yeah.
Don't let us stop you, Van Gogh.
Right.
Nope. All right. Are we ready to get to our real HT experiences of the week?
Sure.
All right. All right. Who wants to go first? Raise your hand.
Well, I only have two, so.
Geez. What do you guys, shy?
No, but I'm just saying I only have two, so I don't know if you want to sprinkle.
Do you want me to go first then?
I'm coming in hot. Coming in really hot. And this thing here, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Briggs.
Oh, I'm color me curious.
Yes,
Color
so
you
am I all of a
curious.
sudden. Yeah.
Let me start paying attention.
Stop the show, everyone. Stop the show. Go on,
Stop
DJ.
the show. Steve,
you
do you
little
want
thinker.
to... do you want to take a stab off of
Ouch.
the picture alone?
It's pretty far away.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, no. But you can't say you weren't warned.
You knew he wasn't going to like it, Steve.
Yeah.
Can't be a surprise.
I don't expect you to like the movie. What I want to know is, what did you think of the presentation?
Oh, well, we're talking about Evil Dead Rise, and it's...
It's a movie.
That it is. Let's be fair to everything. It is on film, I believe. You can purchase it. It's in physical or on. I chose Kaleidescape. It is in Dolby Atmos and 4K. The audio is superb. The video is really good. I mixed the Cheetos came out with this new Cheetos popcorn, and if you mix it with crunchy Cheetos together, it makes a really great movie time snack. So that was pretty high ranking in the 2 hours. Let's see, what else positive can I say?
Ooh. Ouch.
Well, you said the audio was superb, so
It is. So Evil Dead Rise, it is really good. The audio is really, really good. All the scenes Steve talked about they're really good. Some scenes are reference, but here's where, and it'd be fun for people to check this out, where it's, Steve loves horror movies. So he was, and let me tell you, somebody chimed in yesterday on Twitter, I think, and said they'd only seen the first 10 minutes, but they were like, Steve, you are absolutely correct. I've only seen the first 10 minutes. It's awesome. And yeah, the first 10 minutes are awesome. The first, 30 seconds, minutes, Steve, are
the little
unreal.
fly, and then yeah.
Like, and Jen watched this with me, and I told her, I'm like, I'm going down and we're going to watch Evil Dead Rise. And she goes, all right, I'll watch that with you. And I go, really? She's like, yeah, okay. So the opening credits, the opening logo or whatever coming together on the screen. Your whole room is enveloped. There's great bass response. Then you go into that scene that you were talking about, and it looks 3D. It looked like it was part of the credits, but it wasn't. It was actually part of the movie. And you're going down like this riverscape, jungly. It's almost like something out of Jurassic Park, right, Steve?
Yeah.
It is the picture. It looks 3D. It's like the feel you get, the sound going by you. Everything is great. That scene that Steve talked about, where the drone hovers on the right side of the screen, he's absolutely correct, but it's so quick. It's just like, it doesn't last very long. So it's like, my wife missed it the first time. I had to tell her, and we backed it up, and I was like, she goes, oh yeah, no, it does do it. And I moved her into the seat so it would sound better. She goes, she's actually sitting a little off center, so it sounded a little bit more.
Did
like
you give her a booster seat too?
No,
because it's for your ear level, right? Not hers.
Yeah. No, she sat on my lap, John.
Oh,
no wonder you missed the film.
Yeah.
and so every 30 seconds she was at ear level, and then she wasn't.
Easy. Kids are listening.
Was it only the Evil Dead that was rising?
Yeah.
So, so, Steve, you say that. Oh my God. So the audio is really great, but I would not put this movie in reference level at all.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because, but I'm not saying anything bad. What I'm saying is like, I don't like the movie. We'll talk spoiler free in a second, but you absolutely love the movie. So, we both have tainted glasses, I think. And it's because I'm like, even if I was to look at this, it's like, So when I think of like the way you were describing it with all of your excitement, I was thinking like Pacific Rim. And it's not.
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Pacific Rim is like beginning to end, because that's what you like. The quietest scenes in Pacific Rim, it's like you're like, oh my god, this is amazing, just because it's a juggernaut of sound all the way through. Even I would put like Top Gun Maverick is below Pacific Rim, but I would put it ahead of this because, like, think of some of the scenes in Maverick when they're just in a room, but you hear jets flying outside, or you'll hear, like, we talked about that clock ticking. But again, that's also our excitement for that movie. Now, going through Evil Dead Rise, I'm like, there was a lot of dialogue scenes, and you're just like, I didn't really feel anything else going on in the room. I was a fly here and there. I did hear. I get that, but I mean, that's why I wouldn't really go crazy with saying like, oh my god, it's a reference. If you like this series, if you like this type of a movie, then you'll probably really, really appreciate the audio. I did appreciate the audio, and I absolutely, my wife and I, Jen and I, like, it's an awful movie. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. It's like, so not to spoil anything, but Steve, help me out here. It opens up in one thing, and the entire movie goes on, and it's just like the payoff. I'm like, that's it. What? I don't even know what this thing's about. I was just like,
what? Tell me this, Steve. What part of the title "Evil Dead Rise" suggested that there should be anything more than just a schlocky gore blood fest? Well, I mean, that's what you're paying for. That'd be like saying I didn't like Top Gun Maverick because there wasn't enough army.
Here's the thing. Neither my wife or I thought it was very gross. We didn't think it was crazy, gory. We didn't, and there wasn't, and I think you'll admit this too. There's not a single jump scare in the entire thing.
It's not that kind of film. It's not that kind of film. This is
different
another
kind
one of a genre of horror. Yeah.
Okay.
This is not stalk and slash. This is which are famous for your jump scares. This is just
John. This makes
it's
Malignant look, and they say Malignant a few times in this, but this makes Malignant like an Oscar winner to me.
Oh, wow.
It's like I got more story out of. I honestly got more story out of Malignant.
Yeah, well, there are more twists in Malignant, that's fair to say. But this, because there are things in there that you wouldn't necessarily expect. But this is exactly what you want from an Evil Dead film. But look, Deej, I get it. You and I, we talked last week about how it's not for you. And I mean, fair play to you for watching it. I would have been stunned if you'd said, oh, it was fantastic, because it's not your kind of movie. And so I 100% get that, but and there may well be something to the I loved it, therefore I was more open to the audio and the video. But I would say I loved it because of the audio and the video, as well as all the other stuff as well. I mean, the audio. I mean, it's interesting you talk about the quieter scenes, because I can recall being able to hear distant kind of air conditioning units, and you can hear the rain outside, and you can hear traffic in the streets, and you can hear all these little creepy things moving in the background throughout. I don't recall any kind of silent dialogue sort of scenes at all, but there we go. But there we go. I mean,
but here's the thing. Now let me throw this back at you.
Allow me to retort.
When we were going over The Mandalorian, which season 3 or whatever, and you just weren't really into that, and I mentioned, that space scene when they're going through and you could hear the sounds. What did you say to me? Well, if you're concentrating on that, you're really not into the movie or the show, Deej. Are you not? And that's what I was trying to get into the movie, so that's why I'm saying it's like it's your enthusiasm. And the only reason I know this is because I know I do it myself. It's like I love this. That's how I started the podcast, was me just talking about movies I love and all the little tiny things that nobody else would notice because either they don't like the movie or they don't care to listen for them, right? Well, I'm not going back through Evil Dead Rise to look for those sounds.
No, and neither should you. But John, you have to.
I'm going to. Yes.
Yeah.
John, if you haven't bought it by the end of this podcast, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And frankly,
still a little bit too pricey for me.
Yeah, quite well. That's true. But the more Deej rails against it, hopefully, the more you want to see it.
Well, here's Carl's got a rare good point.
Oh, jeez.
Deej is coming out of the blocks tonight.
I know, right?
It's been
a long day. Carl says, I agree with DJ, just two people watching it. This film is designed for a huge sold out bat blank crazy crowd. And I can totally see that. That is a absolutely great point. Like if you'd, maybe even, you got a couple drinks, you have, a few adult beverages, you have a good time, a bunch of people,
cookies.
And everybody. Yeah, all cookie. Something like that where absolutely this could be. And you know what? To be fair, when my theater is done and I've got a few more seats and we have a bunch of people, like the neighbors over, this could be a fun one to do. And you actually would have a good time making fun, listening, watching and stuff. But it's just like, I actually, yeah, John. Yeah, I know, and it's a genre. It's just not for me. But John Thompson says the same thing. I agree with DJ. I hated it. It's not my thing.
Yeah, boo, John, boo.
But the other thing is, it's like I didn't find it to be super gory. They did, like you mentioned, a few of those things, and I was waiting for like a few of them to happen, and then when it did, I was like, they didn't even go all the way with it. Too many cuts. They cut early. Like I was like, man, I thought it was going to get gorier than that.
Well, I can't give you examples without spoiling it. But there are some bits in that I think are, I mean, again, bearing in mind it's a Hollywood movie. They're not doing what they do in Terrifier 1 or 2, where they just go, you know what, those things you've seen on screen, we're going to show you something far worse. It's not what it isn't is a snuff movie. Terrifier 1 and 2 are pretty close to that. Yeah. But so it's not that, but I absolutely loved it. I mean, I really did. Yeah. And again, I get that, and I will accept that because I've only seen it once in the cinema room. I'm going to see it a bunch more times, but I've only seen it once in the cinema room. And it could be that I was jazzed and really enjoying it, and then it's fine. But the way I recall it is that it was just an absolute reference disc. I mean, it really was. I mean, I take the point about the video. It's an interesting movie, and there are some questions about the look of it, I suppose. But in terms of its audio, I mean, I just thought that it was rocking from start to finish. And again, there are bits in that I've never seen elsewhere in terms of the hovering drone, the work that they've done on that, the elevator scene when she first becomes possessed. I mean, there's a picture on the screen. I mean, it's not a spoiler. I mean, that's a reference scene to me. Yeah, you've got movement, everything. The whole room is moving. You feel like you're in that elevator with her.
I would see now. I would rival the T2 elevator scene to that. I found that to be more like, and I've watched that plenty of times, even just recently too. And the metal twang that you get out of that scene. It's the same idea. Yeah, I can do that. I got John. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
kind of.
I've got to get support where I can. All right. So Jordan is at least giving me a little bit of props. So I'm disappointed in the chat. I thought I'd have a bit more backup here because I've had lots of people since telling me they really enjoyed it. So anyway, Jordan Carpenter says, the more I rewatch Evil Dead Rise, the more I love it. I'll just insert there, I agree with Steve. Yeah. I personally think Alyssa Sutherland deserves awards for her performance. I also love it's a franchise that doesn't rely on using jump scares. That it certainly does not, and it never really has. It's always been about the schlock, the grit, the goo. That's what it's always been about from Evil Dead 1 right through. It's not about tension building. That just doesn't have it.
Right?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
an art form.
You can just throw a bunch of red paint on people and go, there it is. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you can actually earn like getting a rise out of people, like, oh my God, and to me, that's what's kind of fun. Like you take like the Alien jump scare, and it's like, and we've all become so accustomed to that when it gets really quiet, you're waiting for that next level to come. And in some of the more recent horror movies, they've actually gone against that because they know the audience is waiting or is getting prepped for that. So they'll throw in, and I can't think of one off the top of my head, but when it happens, I really enjoy that. Like when you'll go through an entire scene of being really quiet and you're just on edge and nothing happens. But then when you least expect it, it'll be like, whoa, something comes flying out. And you're like, me and my son have been like, whoa, that's not a normal, situation. It's not set up the same way. And they're actually relying on your knowledge of horror to be able to, trick you. So, and this had none of that.
But as I said, it's all part of the genre within a genre. The jump scare is not atypical to horror. You don't see it in elevated horror. You don't see it in very rarely would you see it in, your possession type films, that kind of thing. Yeah. Typically it's within your stalk and slash genre, the what's behind the shower curtain, what's lurking in the recesses of the frame, The Evil Dead movies don't do that. They're about over the top giallo style gore and guts and just mess. That's what they're about. And comedy, they're supposed to be funny. This one isn't. In fact, this is notable in its lack of comedy. 1 and 2 are horror comedies. They're ridiculously over the top.
This is my first ever.
This is 5. This is 5. You've got Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, then you've got Evil Dead 2013, and then Evil Dead Rise. And the last one and this one are not comedies. Very, very little humor in these, other than it's so over the top that it's funny.
Yes.
But I would argue there's less of that in this. Yeah, well, to a certain extent you're supposed to. But, as I said, I again, all obviously valid criticism. I get it, but I had a blast with it. John Thompson chimes in with the film was made in Ireland and New Zealand, and maybe that's why Steve liked it. I thought it was the last Evil Dead 2013 that was shot in New Zealand. I wasn't aware that this one was, but either way, it could be. A bit of bias. Stephen has.
Wow, if DJ can sit through it, maybe I'll try it.
Now, I think that's damning you with faint praise, DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I didn't say that everybody needs to see this, because it's not a movie for everyone. There will be people that will find this very difficult, very objectionable on any level, be it because of the violence, be it because of the just it's just not for you. So it's not for everybody. But if it's something you're interested in, I think you'll really enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And it's a disc to be celebrated because of it. But, this is the cool thing about it. We get to discuss it and we get to thrash it out. And then John gets to see it and then prove that I'm right. So it's all good.
Exactly.
It'd be the tiebreaker.
Oh, John, you've got to see it.
John kind of went my way with Malignant. So.
I did. I didn't like Malignant, but
you've seen the other Evil Dead movies.
But I have seen the other Evil Dead movies. Now, I haven't seen Evil Dead 2013. But I've seen all
that'll be worth seeing.
Army of Darkness stuff, and I've watched the Army of Darkness Showtime series. And all that good stuff. Yeah.
I think you'll get a kick out of this. It's not as funny as the others. At least not deliberately.
Right.
But it is. It's an experience. It's a ride, Deej. Could you say that, like a ghost train, or not? Would you not even say that?
Yeah, it is kind of. But it's, to me, it's just like it's going nowhere. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. There's no real destination. There's no real, I thought I don't even understand the story. And I guess you're right. It is kind of like a horror ride, like an amusement park horror ride where you get in the cart, they take you into the building. That's the best analogy, because it's literally what happens. You're in the building.
You end up back where you started.
At the end, you start outside, you end outside, and then you're like, where did we go? Nowhere, nothing. Just a bunch of crap in the middle, horror crap in the middle. And it's like, did you like it? No, but I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean, just a bunch of horror things.
Stuff.
They don't really add up to any one part of us. And there's no common thread other than even the title isn't even a thread. It's just they show it once. It's like, right, Steve? And honestly, think of the story. They named it this, and they're like, it's almost like they forgot that was the title, and then they threw it in. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody when it gets thrown in, but when you go to see it, you'll be like, oh my God. And that's it. You're like, there you go.
So we'll put you down as a maybe, shall we, Deej, in terms of...
Right. Yeah. Well, I was thinking I'm trying to buy some posters on choice movies for the new theater. This one. Yeah, it's on the list. But I put everything on the list. So,
but if you want, yeah. If you want to see, if you want, I mean, for those listening, you do not need to do this, okay? But for those listening that haven't seen it and want to know, if you do see this and you want to know just how far cinema can push gore, then Terrifier 1 and 2 are your next ports of call. They are very difficult to watch indeed.
Yeah.
And that is
those
where
are up there
they
with
set
like
out
Faces of Death, which is real.
You
remember the Faces of Death?
Yeah.
The later ones were worse. The early ones were kind of comical because they were shot. It was a lot of
you know it wasn't real, do you? You know it wasn't real.
Some of them were. The early Faces of Death. The guy getting eaten. The guy that tried to jump the Mississippi and didn't make it, but he didn't die.
Yeah, that's just your YouTube videos these days.
Yeah,
you can type it in. But it's
TikTok. It's on.
But Terrifier 1 and 2 show you how far someone that decides we're going to push the boundaries of what is acceptable to show on screen, and I mean that. So I say, if someone is interested and wants to see how far it goes.
Doing.
Well, we know that. But say Terrifier 1 and 2 push this to a level you will not believe, and are actually very difficult to watch. But that's your high watermark in terms of violence on screen. But this is more of a ride than that. It's more fun. I said I loved it, but I get that again, it's definitely not for everybody. It's not that kind of movie. But there you go.
I like this. I mean, Jordan's 100% right, but I like the part where, and I get a lot of these emails from people about different things. Like, the horror genre has always been subjective. All the genres are subjective. Nothing's like objectively the best genre. It's like,
Star Wars, is that not objectively the best?
It's like objectively, sci-fi is, and I love it's all subjective, and it's like, but I understand why people don't like certain genres, and they don't want to, or some people don't like. I've had people say, I don't like it. It's not that I don't like it. I just don't want to. I've got enough already. They don't even want to try anything new, and when you hear that, you're like, oh, that's too bad because you're really missing out. No, I'm not. And they don't think they are because they have plenty on their plate anyways. So,
well, I have to say, whatever else, Deej, whatever you thought of it, fair play to you for watching it. Good man.
Hey,
well done.
Hey,
that's cool because I didn't think you would.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's cleanse our palate.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
more trashy horror.
That's good. We're talking. We're back for seconds here. Meg 2, not my daughter. She's not a guest host on the show. Especially the Trench.
That's a college nickname.
Yeah, I hope not. Pretty sure I hope not. Me and Greg both. But anyways, thanks for that, Steve. That was very nice.
I don't think he's in the chat, is he? Let's hope not.
Seconds.
He's already booking his flight to Europe.
To the UK. Yeah, he wants to know answers. He wants answers. Yeah. How do you know? Yeah. Now this, by the way, is a terrible poster. This poster's dreadful, but it's the only one I could find that was in landscape, not portrait.
But I love it though in landscape.
You reckon?
It looks awesome.
It looks like sweets or like it looks like candy and stuff. It's stupid.
But doesn't it? Look at it there. It just jumps off the screen. It's like peek behind the curtain. I let the guys know at about 2:00 this morning. Can we get all our images in landscape? Because the new way I'm doing things, I could just drop it in like this. And Steve sent that. Well, you sent this early this morning, and I'm like, I popped it in as a test, and I was like, oh my god! You got the lime green trim around the. I mean, it was like made for us, and I didn't touch it. That's the best part.
There's just some really cool posters out there, and this is the least of them.
Well, I am working on an idea so I can do posters the other way, but that would require a new video card, taking another screen and turning it sideways and blah, blah, blah. So I will get there someday. Don't worry.
You're okay. All we'll do, just ask everybody to get their monitors or their phones and just turn it on the end. Then it'll be fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so now let's talk the film. So this is Meg 2, The Trench. And it's not called The Meg 2. It is Meg 2, The Trench.
Okay.
So I saw this last Friday night on opening night. And it's the first time I've been to an opening night. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
wow. So you walked past all the people going to see Oppenheimer.
Well, this is the thing, Deets, right?
And Barbie.
This, if nothing else, right, we can take from this, right, just the sort of person that I am, that I've seen Meg 2 before I've seen Oppenheimer or Barbie. So as I put out on Twitter, I think I'm going to hell. But anyway, in the meantime...
that's a judgment call there.
Yeah, just as fact.
Yeah.
So I saw this opening night. Now, this is, again, I haven't been to an opening night movie in donkey's years, because normally I'm happy to wait, or I'll watch it opening weekend, whatever, it's fine. But this had to be seen as soon as I could. So this was opening night last Friday night. It's a creature feature. You know what you're getting. It's a movie about bloody great big sharks. Sharks plural, as is evidence from that picture. And also from there, you can see it's not just sharks. There are other creatures in there. And this is in the trailer as well, so I'm not spoiling that. Now then, if you are a creature feature fan, and I very much am, then you'll have a good time with this. If you are not a creature feature fan, one, why are you going to see this? And two, if you are, you probably will think it's the biggest load of crap you've ever seen. Because it is very, very stupid, silly, dopey, ridiculous. And for all those reasons, it's also really good fun.
Yeah. I like Jason Statham. I like fun movies like this. I've never seen the first one.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Don't see this until you've seen it. Don't see this until you've seen that, because it really will make no sense.
I won't really get the story. I mean,
Yeah. Not that there's a lot of story.
Exactly.
Big shark eats people.
I'm pretty sure I have it on my Kaleidescape, the Meg already. It might not be downloaded, but I'm pretty sure I already own it, because I knew
it's well worth seeing.
Yeah. Especially when I heard this one was coming out, and I know I just haven't gotten to it. It's just one of those where it's like, oh yeah, and it's like, maybe I'll watch that one next with my wife. But,
well, give it a go. And John, I think you'll enjoy it too. The first one's really, really, again, dopey, silly, doesn't make a lick of sense, but it's a lot of fun. And, if you go in with the right frame of mind, or with the right cookie, then I think you'll have a whale of a time with it, and just be like,
this podcast is about. It's about real. We're trying to enhance it with our technology, not our pharmaceutical.
We're only talking about the various snacks that we have in our home theaters, Steve.
You were talking about Cheetos popcorn, so fair play.
Euphemism
to show the highlights of the event.
So the first one's it's good, dopey fun. This isn't quite as good as the first one, but it is fun, and I did really enjoy it. And having come out of it, the two people that I saw it with were then immediately kind of dissecting it and going, well, that's a bit stupid, that was a bit silly, but that's the fun of it as well.
Yeah.
So I had a great time with it, and I will be buying this day one in 4K, because there will be some sequences in this that should certainly made for HDR with some real. The trench itself is dark, and it's lit with bioluminescent kind of creatures and all that sort of stuff. So that's all made for HDR. And there are some bloody great big sharks in it. And I imagine that's going to sound very cool in Dolby Atmos. So yeah, I'll be picking this up day one. And again, if you're a creature feature fan, give it a go. Jordan, I think, I remember Jordan, he'd said to me over the weekend that he'd seen it. So there we go. Had a great time watching Meg 2, The Trench in 3D. I didn't see it in 3D. I'm so over 3D. With my local cinema with a friend on Saturday. Excellent. Shut your brain off. Popcorn entertainment. There you go. Done. And that's a really good review. It's exactly what it's like. So I do recommend it. I did enjoy it. It's a lot more fun than it could have been. Oh, and by the way, I haven't checked it on Rotten Tomatoes recently, but as of Saturday morning, and it had about 10 or 15 reviews, its score was 0%.
Really?
Yeah. I've never seen that before. Yeah, I don't know what it's up to now. It was literally 0% with like 10 or 15 reviews.
Wow.
It is way better than that. Yeah. I mean, that should be enough to make you want to go and see it straight away.
Right, exactly.
It's good. It is good. It's worth seeing, but see the first one first. Don't go in seeing this, because otherwise you'll just be like, what on earth?
Well, because I want to know how it turned out the first time.
That's it. Yeah, what happened to Meg 1?
Right.
He married Greg.
Yeah. Are you like, no, like, are you serious? Like the story has something to do with the first one?
Yeah. I mean, it carries
I
on.
would imagine it would. Yeah.
Yeah. You do. Otherwise, you're going to be like, who's he and what's he doing and why is he doing that? It does literally carry on. You know, it's set a number of years after the first one, but there's loads of callbacks to it. You wouldn't get the subtlety of and the complexity of the non-existent plot if you haven't seen the first one. So you really should see the first one, definitely. Yeah, of the non-existent plot. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Oh boy.
So yeah, I recommend this, especially compared to the one we're going to talk about in a minute, which is kind of Evil Dead Rise for DJ levels of excitement for me.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we got? John, do you want to do one here?
Sure. I get to follow all of that.
Actually, before we do that.
Hello.
Welcome the Trench to the show.
I can't hear you.
You can't?
I can hear you.
She heard the comment and wanted to chime in.
Oh, because she's live? Because we're live.
Oh, God. Can I apologize?
But I just have to hold my phone up to my ear.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, we got you there. So you heard the comment, the Trench?
Yeah, we're in the car driving to one of Greg's jobs with the dog, and we were listening to the live stream. And yeah, we
Can
heard
I
the
just
comment.
apologize? Oh man, the shade of red that I've gone is the tan. It's not in any way embarrassment.
You get called out live now.
Yeah,
You got called out live. It's like Steve is matching John's shirt.
Yeah, right. I'm going to just quickly tweet.
But I'm back now.
Okay.
Yeah, Greg had paused the episode when you started talking about the Meg because he wanted before he heard anything. So he was saying, "Oh, I bet your name will come up." So then we started the episode once I got in the car, and we both had some looks to our face.
You're not driving to the airport, are you guys?
No.
Yeah. Passports in hand.
Yeah, we're running away.
Passports and baseball bats heading to the UK.
Yeah. So, oh man. Well, there you go. The Meg.
Yep.
And look, even on
Live
YouTube,
on the
Meg.
podcast.
Yeah.
The Meg live on the podcast. So she's got a new nickname. I call her lovingly. I call her Pumpkin. But you know, Steve.
I guess Trench is just as good, right?
I guess.
That's okay. Don't worry, guys. I'm just quickly.
I was gonna text you right after it, and then I saw your text come up.
Right, if you could just bear with me, guys, I'm just going to tweet the director of Evil Dead Rise a minute, right, so we can get him on the show. I'm going to get my own back.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Thanks for chiming in.
Apologies, sorry.
Of course, anytime.
You made Steve's day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye. Love you.
That's very sweet of you to say, DJ. I mean, I like you. I've just got to get to know you better.
Yeah. All right. Enough with that. So let's.
Busted.
That's so good. Busted. Nice. There we go, John. Bring us back to some semblance of home theater reality.
Well, this will be super quick because we just talked about it last week. But I bought this
20 minutes on Evil Dead Rise.
Well, I know that's why we're an hour in, so I'll make it quick. But I bought this last week during the show while Steve was talking about it. We're talking about The Last Castle for those that aren't watching live. Yeah, the Amazon affiliate link made a commission on that, so
wish we don't have that.
I wish we had one of those.
Yeah. For everybody out there going, see, I told you, they're making money hand over fist. Nope.
Right. No.
Hand, fist. That's all that's in between.
Of course, this is Blu-ray, so 1080p, 5.1. I think it was actually master audio. But yeah, I don't have a lot to say besides what Steve said last week. I don't think I've seen this movie since 2001, 2002. It had been a long time, to the point where I was pretty sure I had seen it, but I wouldn't swear to it on a Bible. Right. But once it came on, I did remember having seen it, but most of it came as a surprise as I was watching it, because it's been 20 plus years since I've seen it. Excellent movie. I really, really liked it a lot. I thought the disc was solid. I mean, for 1080p Blu-ray, the picture looked really good. I thought it had some great audio, especially, the kind of like the end, like the prison takeover sequences with the helicopters and I'm losing my words, the water cannons and everything that was happening there. I thought it had some pretty good audio for, an older movie. But yeah, really solid pickup. If you don't have this or you haven't seen it, it's like $5.99 on Amazon. It was super cheap. Well worth it. Really excellent movie. James Gandolfini plays great villain in this movie. Really solid. So
I've got one question for you though, John.
Yeah.
Did you crave a sandwich after he was eating his sandwich with the pickles and the Diet Coke?
I didn't. No, I didn't. Yeah. To the point where I didn't even remember you said that till you just brought it up again. So that it did not trigger me like that. No.
Every time I see it.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't even look like a good sandwich.
No, I know. No, there's no feral pig in that sandwich.
It's just pretty much Wonder Bread and some Oscar Mayer. So
and pickles. What we call gherkins. Yeah. But
right.
it just looks so tasty. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think it's the clinking of the ice in the glass as well.
Must be. Yeah, must be.
Yeah.
But yeah, very solid.
Enjoyed it. Oh, good.
I did. Yeah, I really did. And I would have forgotten it. Like, this is one of those movies that I probably never would have seen again, because I would have forgot it even existed, until somebody reminded me. And it is really a good movie. Like, this will go into, the rotation somewhere, and I'll definitely watch it again down the line. So I'm really glad to have picked it up.
And for those listening over here as well, it's £6 here as well. It's the same price. Right. So it's really cheap for what is a really solid, entertaining film.
Yeah.
That's good. Did you watch it again, Deej, or you got it on Kaleidescape, haven't you? Or
no, I don't have this on Kaleidescape yet.
Okay.
But I've seen it, and it's funny we talk about movies like that we haven't seen and forgot that we ever even saw or even existed.
I forgot all about it.
Yeah, and it's like I can't remember. I can't remember what it was, but I have a when I first built this downstairs room outside my theater, I had 2 theater posters on the wall, and if you open the theater posters, that's where I had all of my movies. Okay. So it looked like just 2 theater posters on the wall, and I put them on hinges, and you open it up, and that's where all my movies would be. One of the they're all still there. The front side of the wall has been done over, but the back side is still there. I just have never taken it apart, and you can see the back side of all these discs. They're all DVDs. That's how old it is. But they're the back side of the disc where you can't see the title. It's just the black, edge. And so you pull one out, and there's movies in there that I'm like, oh my God, we just talked about this 2 weeks ago. And I was like, have I ever seen that? And if it's in that wall, I've seen it. I've owned it. I bought it, and I own it. Right. I mean, I watched it. Right. And you're just like, there's movies in there that I'm like, I forgot they ever even existed, but I've owned them and watched them. It's like, and then between the 3 of us and all the listeners, it's like people bring stuff up, and you're like, I think I've seen it. And that one particular wall, I think, goes from like the letter N to the end of the alphabet. The other side was the first half of the alphabet, because they're all alphabetical. So I got Species in there. I know that's one of them. I've got also, the Rocky set is in there. It's like all sorts of movies, and you're just like, and it's a blind pick. You're like, what is this one? Oh no. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Sneakers is in there, which I mentioned last week when we were talking about this one. But yeah, but it's fun.
It is good. Yeah, it's a great film. I mean, I had forgotten that, I had the DVD. I saw it loads of times, and then I
Yeah.
I did not believe it was on Blu-ray, and it's literally only about 2 weeks ago. Someone said, "Oh, yes, it is," and then I had it the next day, and it is such a good movie. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, guys, anyone listening, watching, give it a go. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but if it is, do it that way. Or if not, for £6, $6.
Yeah, you can't beat it's $5.99.
Blind buy, you can't go wrong. Yeah, that's good.
And the other part, like we talked about with comedies, is that like all of these movies, if you've forgotten they existed, you've forgotten what the experience was like. And if it's out on Blu-ray, you've never seen it like this before.
Right.
So with our systems and on a Blu-ray, you've never experienced this movie like this before. So that makes it even that much more fun. Because I'm like, probably the last time I saw this was DVD on a, maybe my projector, my 780, 720. I mean,
I probably watched it on HBO. I don't know if I ever owned it.
Yeah.
Honestly. I watched it on a 32-inch TV on HBO 21 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what's funny is it doesn't have to be 4K for us to be like, wow, what an experience. Because the Blu-ray of this is far better than anything we ever experienced back then.
Right.
And and the audio as well.
Well, John Thompson will tell you, I mean, he's in the chat, he will say that in his view, he has some Blu-rays that are better than the 4K. I couldn't name one of those personally, but, John's very, very knowledgeable on this stuff. And so, absolutely, there are some Blu-rays that look absolutely fantastic. And we certainly wouldn't want to write them off.
Yeah, but I mean, remember I did...
I thought Battle Los Angeles was
both
4K quality.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
So...
And I know people mentioned it like, oh, well, you have the Lumagen, so you're punching that up a little bit. Well, you can only punch it. The information has to be there. You can't, the Lumagen doesn't rewrite it. It just pulls out what's there to the best of the ability of my system. Right. So it's like, the day after tomorrow, that information was there. It doesn't write in details. And it's funny, Mikey Schramm and I had this conversation the other day about up converting and down converting and stuff. And it's like, when we up convert stuff, all it's doing is giving you a better, it's allowing the pipeline and taking that information and modifying it to the best that you can. It doesn't add any information. Right. So like when you're looking for, it doesn't add 4K when you go from 1080p. It doesn't make new pixels. It takes the existing pixels and just divides them. And then you know what I mean? But like audio wise, when we up convert audio, we're not adding new channels. Our processors are so good and they're so powerful that they can mix it the way it was intended. Because when they're mixing this, like when Christopher Nolan mixes this in 5.1, he wants that pan to go up and over you. You can do that without object-based audio mix, right? And our processors are just doing that for us. It's not making anything new. So it's like all of this stuff is there, and our new systems, our new tech that we all have is able to take advantage of this stuff. And it's like, I mean, imagine the entire library. I mean, I don't have to imagine it. I got half of it in a wall backwards. So, but it's fun. And that's what's, so thanks, Steve, for bringing this up, and everybody for, all the listeners when you bring stuff up.
Sorry,
like
John, did it again, mate.
Nope, I got him.
Jordan Carpenter in the chat says there's definitely some fantastic Blu-rays. And first one that comes to mind is Kevin, how I say this, The Hunt. Because that can be said wrong. But I assume that, Jordan, you mean the one with the liberals that go on a sort of killing spree for others. I'm assuming you mean that one. There are a number of movies called The Hunt, but I'm assuming it's that one because that is a fantastic Blu-ray and 7.1 surround as well. It's a heck of a movie. I think you do have that on Kaleidescape, Deej, don't you? I think you do. Pretty sure I've seen it on that panel.
I think so.
I think that's the one he means.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about crazy, but it's a beautiful looking Blu-ray. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Let's touch on this just ever so quickly. We'll go to Foundation on Apple TV Plus. John, are you watching this? Have you gotten back into it yet?
But I might be out on this, to be honest with you.
Really? I was wondering that about you. I know you don't like jumps and stuff
about
like
halfway
that.
through that last week's episode, I was thinking, I don't know, man. I'm going to give it one more week. The quality is great. Like there's no drop in quality at all from season 1 to season 2. But the story is, I don't know. I'm not into it as much as I was season 1. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I love the conversations, the philosophy behind it, the idea of like going back all the way to season 1 and like math, and it's just like they can predict with math, and it's like they do that a little bit more here, but there's some twists to it, like anything. But yes, the home theater quality of this is
it's excellent.
It's awesome.
This is why you got your Lumagen.
Yep. This is the foundation of the Lumagen, see? But yeah, so really enjoying that if you haven't taken it in yet. And if you're a fan of the Dune movies or books or anything, I kind of likened it to that. It's different, but it's got some common threads there. But yeah, I really enjoy it. So let's see. Who wants to go next? Oh, Steve, actually, because John only has one more. Let's break it up a little bit with Steve here. What do we have? We'll save that one. There we go. Let's do that one.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, see, Steve can see the previews.
There we go. Okay, so Scream 6 on 4K UHD disc. Now, John brilliantly spoke about it 2-3 weeks ago, having seen it on streaming. I think it was
Paramount or Peacock, one of those. Yeah.
And I remember you saying then the disc will be really good. And I'm saying I really hope so. Now, I had seen this on a screener in 2-channel stereo, front room job, 46-inch screen, which we can all agree is nothing. And so this is the first time I've seen this film in 4K and in Dolby Atmos. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. And again, Deej, talk about Evil Dead Rise and how kind of the experience and is heightened by the delivery system. And this movie was enjoyable enough the first time round on the screen. I thought it was okay, but this time round, seeing it like this was an absolute blast. I had a great time with this time round. And John, everything you said about the quality of the picture and the sound and what the disc would be like is 100% correct. Good. This was really, really enjoyable. Way more than I thought I was going to enjoy it this time around.
Because you didn't love the movie, if I remember.
No, I did. Yeah. I thought it was really Scooby-Doo and a bit kind of and a bit silly and kind of, it was okay. I didn't dislike it, but I wasn't blown away. But the 4K disc just is such an experience. It was really, really good. And I've got a few timestamps just because, again, I'm keen like that. There's a nice little moment at 29 minutes and 55 seconds. I've worked out my timings, by the way, on my notes. So nice. 29 minutes and 55 seconds. There's quite a fun there's a short scene where 2 characters are talking in a stairwell, and they're at the bottom, and someone shouts from up above them, calling them up to the apartment. And as they do that, those voices come directly above you in the Atmos speakers. So you genuinely feels like you can hear this person above you, which was a fun little thing. At 34 minutes, there is an incident in a supermarket, spoiler free. Although there's bits of it in the trailer where Ghostface decides to pursue our heroes into a supermarket, and you then get a nice kind of juxtaposition between the sort of the quietness of and the tension. Funny enough, Deej, talk about jump scares. The tension of kind of they're in this supermarket, Ghostface is in there, and you don't know where. And then Ghostface then decides to start using a shotgun, which is new, and you get the juxtaposition of the quiet and then the bang and the punch of the shotgun, which is really nice and actually sounds pretty decent. And then I'm going to skip one and then go to 1 hour and 23 minutes, which I've labeled as the train station train sequence. And I think, and I might be wrong, I don't know, but I think this is the reason this movie is set in New York, because this sequence is an Atmos demo. sequence. It's the only one I would say in the movie for sure, where it begins at a train station. It's very crowded. There's all sorts of noise. You can hear trains in the distance. You can hear kind of all this kind of hubbub and stuff. And then once they get on the train, there's all the noise of all that going around. And it's a really well staged sequence. And the Atmos on it is fantastic. And so this is the reason potentially to buy the disc. The movie's really good. It's a solid experience. But this particular, the train station sequence at 1 hour 23 is a reason to buy the disc, I would say. It's really good indeed. So Deej, come Halloween, when you finally watch part 5 and you then roll on to part 6, hopefully you'll enjoy this more than Evil Dead Rise.
I'm sure I will. I like the Scream series. I do.
These are good. The one thing I would say about this one, though, again, I should say noticeably, it is much more brutal than even 5, which had a little bit to it. This one, people are being stabbed in the face and being gutted, and that again has much more force to it in the 4K disc than on the screener that I'd seen. This is hardcore. There's very little comedy in this, and there's a lot of very significant violence. So beware of that, because it is more than you'd expect.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that one, Deej?
Yeah, Jordan says, had a brilliant experience with an audience watching Scream 6 in 3D with a packed audience at my local cinema earlier this year. Love how it utilizes its New York setting. So, yeah, and that is part of it. Like, I mean, horror movies are kind of like, a little bit like comedies in that it does help to have an audience with a larger
communal
audience.
Experience.
Yes, exactly. So exactly, and because you can feed off of everybody else, and it's like if other people are having jump scares or people are laughing in comedies, it's contagious. And
there is a form of horror that is meant that is elevated by that. But personally, I always would prefer to see horror movies first off on my own in the cinema room, because you can engage with it. Because the problem that comes with that kind of experience is people bloody talking and noise, and you're missing then the next bit, or the tension, or the story, because everyone's then sort of nervously laughing and talking and did you knew that was coming, and I find that massively irritating. I'd only want to do that the next time. I wouldn't want to do that the first time, because you're just missing it all. And I'd be the one going on a ghost face killing spree if I'm in the cinema and there's all that noise going on. Talk about Scream 2. But I get it. I do get that. I understand that it is that communal experience, and maybe I'm just an antisocial so-and-so. Maybe, actually, but
I think
I would
people.
prefer.
It's just you like to have some entertainment and watching people get mutilated.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, I do after I go through that experience.
Yeah, exactly.
But I get it. I didn't know it was in 3D. I must admit, I didn't know they showed Scream 6 in 3D. Fair enough.
There you go. You're going to have to check it out. All right, you want to go again, Steve? Because we have...
of course. Do you want to just quickly do the layer? Do you want to just quickly do that? Because I can knock that on the head really quickly. Do you want to just do that one?
do that one instead?
Right. Yeah, because I could just... Because the last two... go on then. Yeah, go on then. We'll do that. We'll go with your first choice.
There we go.
Because this will be quick.
There you go.
I've never seen this. Yeah.
Don't bother, John.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, okay.
So this one, I nearly cut this out of my things, because it is the Bright Side Home Theatre podcast. And so it doesn't seem quite right to then just say what a load of crap this is. But this is a load of crap. So this is a
I'll probably
Neil
love it.
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, I don't think even you, Deej, is going to get much from this. So this is the reason I bought this is, one, because Jordan Carpenter told me it was out on Blu-ray. Thanks, Jordan. And two, because this is a movie directed by Neil Marshall, who directed Dog Soldiers, obviously greatest werewolf film ever made, next to American Werewolf in London. Don't say anything, Deej, it's fine. Dog Soldiers.
Well, hey,
you didn't like Dog Soldiers.
No, but here's a nice fun segue for that.
Yeah. What do we got? Oh,
Nelson.
I'm buying this.
He tweeted out, I made in our community, I made a blind buy on this, and I'm glad I did. This was excellent. I compared to The Howling and Predator. Really good. And he grabbed Dog Soldiers. That's an image of it. It's on his Zapedi. But yeah, so Nelson really liked Dog Soldiers.
Nelson, you're a legend. We like you already. That's great stuff.
There you go. So I already had that in the
good
images here, so I thought I'd throw that up while you mentioned it.
So Neil Marshall directed it, and he also directed films like The Descent, which is a really, really good horror film. And I said Dog Soldiers is great, and I'm a sucker for his other movies like Centurion and Doomsday, that are all genre movies. But he's had some success. He did. He's done lots of Game of Thrones episodes, and he's done some big stuff. And with this, he's going back to his roots, to shoestring budget, minimal kind of stuff. He wrote and directed this in conjunction with the main star, who is someone you will have never heard of. And it's a movie about a British Air Force pilot who is shot down over Afghanistan, not Spain. And what happens then is she discovers this Russian base that's been there since the 80s, and she has to take refuge from the Taliban soldiers that are pursuing her. And it turns out there are creatures in there, and these creatures are bad. And that's not the only thing that's bad about this film. Because boy, oh boy, was this hard work. The dialogue is dreadful. The special effects are terrible. The acting is dreadful. The accents are terrible. It was hard to finish this. I did, and it's not good. So as much as I waxed lyrical about Evil Dead Rise, whatever the opposite of that is, obviously what you went through earlier, Deej, this is it for me. This was not good. And so, maybe people in the, in the chat, anyone that's listened to it or watched it, well done you. I'm not recommending it though, because I'm at the moment, I think I'm going to have to remove this from the collection, because it's not midway bad. But it's not a million miles away, and I think I might have to just put this in the attic.
Did you
never to be seen again?
On your next viewing of Evil Dead Rise, did you notice that the three children have three different accents from around the world, and they're all trying to do American badly.
Yeah.
My wife and I were like, and I'm like, Steve loves this, and he's such an accent guy, and like the three kids, especially the youngest little girl. And it's like, how do you ask a kid that age to do an accent? But she did a decent job. And I never would have even meant, I don't care about that stuff. But for somebody, and like you just, and I completely forgot about it till you just mentioned it. Like, now here's a movie you didn't like, and you're like, this, and the accents were horrible. Like, well, when you go back to Evil Dead Rise, they're pretty bad.
But there are gradations.
She has three children, and granted, you never meet the father, so maybe he has three different accents. I don't know. But all three children speak slightly. I mean, it's not crazy. You have to pay attention to it, but you can tell they're all from different parts of the world doing an American accent.
Wow. There are gradations of poor accents, though, Deej, and this is at the opposite end of whatever spectrum you want to get to. There are guys in this. I had to look them up on IMDb just to check where they were from. And there's an English guy trying to do a Welsh accent, which is just abysmal, and of course the problem is it's exacerbated by the terrible dialogue. So it is soul crushingly bad, and it really is. I mean, you guys, hopefully you'll never subject yourselves to this, but if you ever do, I'll be curious to talk to you about the accent. I mean, John, you might do, because of course you're like me. If it's got
I like bad movies.
Yeah. So if it's available over there, give it a watch, I suppose, and then at least we can compare it. We'll form a support group afterwards.
Right. I like a good bad movie, so. And Jordan does too, apparently.
So Jordan says, glad I could let you know that. Yeah, thanks, Jordan. The Lair was on Blu-ray. Steve says, I only own it on Blu-ray so I could add it to my bad movie collection. I mean, it definitely belongs there. And that's a shame, because I like Neil Marshall. I've met Neil Marshall. He signed my copy of The Descent on Blu-ray, and he was a nice guy. But boy, oh boy, do I not know what happened to him here. Deej, do not get him on the podcast. Don't call him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had one embarrassment for one night.
Well,
yeah,
I know. I'll save that for next week. We have, speaking going back to Last Castle.
Yeah, sorry.
Steve Att said, I see the Last Castle is on Max.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, anybody wants to check that one out. And again, even on Max, it's going to be
It's probably better than a DVD, yeah.
anything we witnessed in the past. So, all right, let's see. Where's my next one here? It's
just before we move on, though, D, just because this is near to my heart, talking about bad movies. John Thompson says the best example of this is Highlander in terms of accents. I think he means. So we've got a Frenchman trying to be Scottish, a Scotsman trying to be Spanish. It's classic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, all right. This one here dropped today. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
It is. This is a really, really good disc. It's going to be a good disc. I got it on the Kaleidescape, 4K, HDR, Dolby Atmos. Great bass. For people that have seen it, the opening scene and the drums, and you can feel them. And what's really cool about the opening, especially, is that at first, and I'm gonna spoil it for you a little bit, the home theater experience part. But at first, you're like, "Oh no, did Sony not do a good job here? Is this not that good of an audio disc? What happens?" And then it kicks, and you're like, "Oh, all right, there we go." It's like, there's some sound going with the opening credits and stuff, and there's a little bit of bass going. There's some bass noises going on, right? And it's just, but then all of a sudden, you could feel it come up through you, and it just was like, you're like, it is really, really good. I am with the way my day has gone, I'm about 3/4 of the way through this, and it is the different quote unquote universes. And I think we all said this when we saw it in the theater. It is only going to be enhanced in your home, because one of the universes, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to give anything away, but one of the universes is a little more pastel-y, more watercolory, another one's more vibrant, and it is super evident on your screen. It looks so good in 4K. The details that you can see are so much better than what I experienced in the theater. And the same with the sound too. The sound on this there's a lot more detail. I've heard characters say things that I'm like, they were I guess they're meant to be there, but it's very, very discreet. They do a great job of characters walking off to one side or the other, and you can hear them just getting that last jab in or something, but it's super clean. And you're like, oh, I hadn't heard them say this before, or I hadn't heard that before. Really, really good use of the discrete channels, but nice full room home theater experience, pans galore, great bass. The entire thing is super dynamic picture and sound. So I can't say enough about it. And it's the last thing I'll say, Steve, before you jump in. You guys know how I felt at the end of seeing it last time, and I was like, oh, I didn't know, blah blah. Well, I think knowing what when you see this the second time and you go through the movie, it's knowing the ending and watching it a second time, it makes it that much more meaningful. And I'm like, this could be the best second part combo ever, depending on how they do. Because this is a great. Wow. It's going to turn out to be about a 5-hour movie. We'll know in about 5 years. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it is really, really good. What were you going to say,
no,
Steve?
But what, you took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say, DJ, it's a good job you're sitting down, because I've got to tell you, this is the middle bit.
I know. It's in a way, like I said with Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, it's a movie unto itself, right? So the second one can be not as good, and you'll be fine. This one here literally leaves you in the middle of a movie. So you need the second one to finish this off. So that's why I'm saying, I'm like, but this first one, knowing that this first one is so good that when we get that second one, it'll kind of be like a Lord of the Rings type event, like, okay, sit down and watch our 4.5 hour movie, because basically that's what it is. But the home theater experience of it is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm hesitant to say it could be home theater experience of the year, because
you already had that with Flash.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that with Flash.
And The Covenant, and
I did
Oppenheimer.
Not say it with Flash. I did not say it with Flash. I said it with Covenant. I did not.
Did you say it was the home experience of the year? Home theater experience of the year with the Flash?
No, that was Covenant. That was Covenant, and it's been Covenant up until.
Didn't he say that, John?
I don't remember. I know he said it was really good, but
no, I said it was awesome. But I said, and I probably mentioned home theater experience of the year, and this wouldn't make it because the movie isn't as good. But I would say Covenant was my home theater experience of the year, and I would have said this would have beaten it now, knowing the experience that I have so far. But I'm fully expecting Oppenheimer for me to just it would have to totally flop, and that would be the first time a Nolan film ever flopped in our homes.
It's not going to.
No. So I don't see that. But yeah, Covenant, this, Oppenheimer, Flash isn't even no way.
Well, I mean, the first part.
It's
the first movie is a reference disc.
Which one?
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh,
Into the
Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, definitely reference disc. Artistically, there's one scene that they even mention art, and I don't know if I picked up on that in the first one. And one character says, you call this art? And the other character says, we're talking about it. And I was like, yes. I was like, it's great. So, yeah, really, really good. Loved it. So.
Awesome. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it'll be great.
All right. Do you have another one, John? Yes.
I've got one more, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
We can do this.
We can do.
Well, I mean, I know Steve's got a
we
couple
were
more.
gonna
I know
fail?
Steve's got a couple more, but we can.
It's okay.
Because we're starting to get on in time again.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
All right, so this is The Last Samurai, also on Blu-ray. Now, I had a very specific reason for watching this week. Anybody care to guess what it was?
You started samurai training?
Nope.
I have no idea. I've never seen this.
It comes right after The Last Castle on my Blu-ray shelf. And
and you had it?
when I had to make room for The Last Castle, I pulled this out and said, okay, let's give this a go.
Yeah,
Had you seen it before?
I own this one. I've seen this movie multiple
That
times.
doesn't mean you've seen it.
No, I have. I've seen this movie multiple times. So like I said, Blu-ray, 1080p, also Dolby Audio. I know some people have some problems with this movie, but I think this movie is fantastic. I really, really like this movie a lot. Hadn't seen it in a while. It kind of had been in the back of my mind lately anyways, and like I said, when I had to move it to make room for a new movie on my shelf, I was like, okay, let's do this. I think this movie is one of those Blu-ray discs that is 4K quality when it comes to the video. It looks stunning. Again, as you might guess, it takes place largely in Japan. And you have some of that feel of like one of the old martial arts movies. There's a lot of landscape, this takes place. Oh, I don't know. What year would you say this is, Steve?
It's the late 1800s,
yeah,
isn't it?
Late 1800s.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so pre-industrial time. So, Japanese huts and, living in little villages and planting rice in the fields and all that stuff. And it looks stunning. Lots of cherry blossoms. Actually, the cherry blossoms are a bit of a character in this movie, and they look fantastic. So this is a very, very nice looking disc. The audio, upmixed to Neural X, so it is kind of what you would expect to get. It's not reference quality by any means, but it is very nice. There are some scenes that sound really good. There's some like Gatling guns that sound really nice. Some horse riding, some things like that, some stampedes. There is a big battle, and that sounds really nice. Overall, I was very pleased with this. Like I said, I haven't seen it since pre-current system, and so I've never seen it as good as this viewing. But DJ, you said you've never seen that. I'm a bit surprised because it's Tom Cruise. But this is a great movie.
Like I
said, it gets a little bit of criticism, for some whitewashing and things like that with Tom Cruise, because it is, I guess, loosely based on actual events, and it wasn't a white man.
Yeah, there's a bit of white savior syndrome in this, isn't there?
There is.
But there is with Avatar, there is with Dances with Wolves, there is, it's a trope of the genre, isn't it?
Right.
I love this film. I really like this movie. And again, for the similar reasons that I love Avatar and I love Dances with Wolves and that kind of thing. I think this is a really well-made film, directed by Ed Zwick. And shot. I mean, it's shot again in New Zealand, I do believe.
Oh, was it?
That's South
beautiful.
Island. Yeah, it was.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and of course, in the Pacific, it's not actually all that different a landscape anyway. So it can certainly pass for Japan. It's a really good film. DJ, I'm amazed you haven't seen it. This is another one to go on the list. I think you'll really enjoy this.
And this is another one of those Blu-ray discs. I had to do this photo because there's no top menu here. It just goes right into the movie. So I was like, okay, there's no picture that I can take here. So I'll just take a picture of the case. But it is really, really well done. And there's some really nice production design. The landscapes, again, as John says, 100%. But the armor, the complexity and the detail on the armor that they're all wearing, the way in which they are, even the wooden floors of the places that they live in and all that. It's sort of production design porn, not in that way. Well, yeah, and I would imagine this was a big budget film for the day because it's a Tom Cruise movie. So it's definitely not an indie film. It was big budget. So.
Yeah, it's really well done. Again, anyone that hasn't seen it, this is a must see. It really is good. DJ, I think you'd really enjoy it. And again, you're right, John. I think the thundering hooves, all the gunfire. The initial fight is in a kind of a misty wood. And you can hear that's not the name of a porn star either, but you can also hear the sort of the samurai in the background, and you can hear them them coming before you. Oh God, I'm doing it again. You can hear them coming before you see them. Sorry, you can, but you could sort of, and then all the hooves and everything else. It's really good. So very
really
good.
Nice, really nice quality. I really like I said, I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, look at that, John. John Thompson in the chat saying, my friend Vincent Ward wrote the original screenplay, and in the original script, the last samurai was a woman. Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. Actually, do you know what? That would have been
a different film.
That would have been more interesting. Yeah,
but
Actually, do you know what? That would have been more interesting.
It would have. Yeah.
Because then if she leads the resistance and leads the revolt, that would have been fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, there you go. We'll have that in the sequel. Last Samurai 2.
There you go.
The Barbie years.
And,
okay, excellent, yeah.
Did you see? Oh, yeah, you took down. Jordan said, I really like The Last Samurai. Not a masterpiece for me, but still a great film to watch.
I agree. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, hey, I know. I can't believe I haven't seen it. It's just.
It was a big film when it came out. It was a hit when it was released. So, yeah, oh, well.
I don't know how I missed it. I do. I don't know. What year did that come out? 2003.
2003.
Yeah, say 03, 04.
Kids, the house. I know what was going on in 2003. And it's funny. It's like a lot of John and I have talked about shows and stuff that I'm like, no, I missed shows for years and years because you're trucking kids around and you come home and you're like, sit down, that's it, go to bed and do it all again the next day. And it's like by the time you come back around, there's still good stuff going. So.
See, I just didn't do anything for my kids, so I had plenty of time to watch TV and movies. I just sent him upstairs. Sent him upstairs with a TV dinner, and I sat down in front of the TV.
Yeah.
Those trucking kids.
Yep.
Kaleidescape has it.
Yeah.
Kaleidescape has it for $9.99.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
well worth it.
Go. Yeah. This one.
Yeah, I mean, you bought Evil Dead Rise, and you paid more than $9.99 for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's a masterpiece. Come on. The 4K disc of The Last Samurai is bound to come sooner or later. And
I was
when it does,
looking.
that will be day one.
Yeah,
day one.
It doesn't exist yet, but I will definitely pick it up.
It's on its
because
way.
I can't
It's one of
imagine
those-
it will look. I mean, it has to look fantastic. You know?
Well, it'll be one of those Warner's discs that comes out like the perennial ones, like Training Day, like Blade, although that's New Line as well, like 300. They're the discs that Warner's fall back on a newer format. So sooner or later, and The Last Samurai is one of those. It was one of the early Blu-rays, so it'll hit 4K disc. It's just a question of when. I think, hopefully soon.
Yeah. Got a couple other comments here. Going back to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We got Jordan saying Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was such an incredible film to experience at my local cinema on opening night and on X Plus. Cannot wait to own the 4K disc. And John Thompson with the base on the comic book logo code should knock you out at the start. Yeah, it is really good. That opening scene. Especially the drums, just so good. Such a and again, such a fun movie too.
I'm looking forward to the watercolor bit at the beginning where you've got that bit where she crosses and hugs someone and the color changes because of the mood that she's got. That she's thinking, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be it's going to be very cool. I think I'll enjoy it more second time round. I was getting a little bit frustrated with it first time, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Nice. All right, you ready for your first of the? I think these are your last two, right, Steve?
Yeah.
All right. We'll
Okay, so moving ever onwards through the Bruce Lee at Golden Harvest box set, we come to The Way of the Dragon, and boy, oh boy, was this fun! Goodness me. I mean, again, I won't rehearse everything we said last week. I mean, I've seen these films lots of times, and I'm moving through this. And then after this one, I had to pause for the next film because I did not want to skip the next one and then go to Game of Death. So I waited. So this is The Way of the Dragon. It's The Way of the Dragon, and rightly so. Great movie. Interestingly, directed by Bruce Lee. That I did not know. A number of times I've seen this movie, and I did not know that. Directed by him. Starts off with some goofy comedy that I could do without, but as it sort of moves on and as the film then develops, some iconic fight sequences, not least of which, of course, is when he fights Chuck Norris in the Colosseum, or it's supposed to be the Colosseum, and it is still every bit as good as it always has been, but now you get this fantastic video and audio quality as well. Even though this is on 4K disc, so 4K video, HDR, it's HDR10, and it looks fantastic. The audio is DTS HD mono, so there's only so much you're going to get out of that. Even up mixed to Neural X, it's all rooted at the front of the screen. There's very little of any movement, but it's still fantastic. This, again, to say it, as I said last week, this is the way to see these movies. If you don't mind dropping 120, 130 pounds or dollars to get it, this is the way to see them. It's great. And there's not much more I want to say because there's lots more I want to say about the next one.
Okie dokie. Me too. I just got some late breaking news, but we will get to that. Exactly. When you are, as you go through yours, I will prepare myself for my late breaking news. But go ahead. Here we go.
You haven't sort of carried on the tradition and sort of beamed in Bruce Lee via some sort of like Ouija board, have you, Deej?
Right.
You're a bit concerned.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
so
you spoiled it, Steve.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Lee, if you're listening.
He is.
Okay. Although, can I say that with my when I first put out the tweet about seeing Enter the Dragon, the Bruce Lee Foundation liked the tweet. So that was very
nice.
cool of them.
Oh.
That was quite nice. Yeah, his actual family is like, yeah, it's great. Anyway, right, I digress. So this is Enter the Dragon in 4K disc, Dolby Atmos. Came out here yesterday. I think it's out today in the US. And as we said last week, it is not a classic. It's not a masterpiece. It is the classic, the masterpiece when it comes to martial arts movies. Just very quickly, there is a difference between the US and the UK releases. And for once in our lives, the UK have got the better deal, because the UK 4K disc comes with the Blu-ray, the US does not. And on that Blu-ray is a wealth of special features and documentaries and bits and pieces. So those in the UK that, go pick it up. Those in the US, you might want to think about whether you might want to import this, because the Blu-ray would be region free. It's a Warner's disc, so you would be able to watch it over there. But obviously you don't have to, because the 4K disc is fantastic, as we're about to talk about. But, just beware, there is another version if you're in the US, and if you want all those special features, then you might want to think about importing. Okay, so the movie is every bit as good as it has ever been. I have seen this movie way more than is decent, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I've probably seen this almost as many times as I've seen Star Wars. But not far off, if not more. And it's an absolute pleasure to watch. It is fantastic. And watching it again like this, almost like watching it for the first time, certainly seeing it it is a revelation for me. This is a different presentation entirely to how I've seen it before, and I've seen it on VHS, I've seen it on DVD and Blu-ray. This is a whole new experience. The 4K image quality is exceptional. It is revelatory. The colors leap off the screen. The detail in the images is awesome. I put up some pictures on Twitter yesterday because I just couldn't help myself. It looked absolutely exceptional. I noticed details that I've never seen before. There's a short sequence where Bruce Lee's finding out what happened to his sister. And what I didn't realize, again, bearing in mind I've seen this film hundreds of times, I didn't realize Bruce Lee is crying in that scene, and you can now see the tears running down his eyes, which I had never noticed before. You can see all the beads of sweat on his body when he's fighting and all the rest of it, even in kind of medium shots, which you wouldn't expect. And it just looks exceptional. The wider color gamut on this is fantastic. The reds, the golds, the yellows of the outfits, the whites of the tunics just look exceptional. This, I've never seen it look as good as this. It's fantastic. So, having said how good it looked, I know this is becoming a little bit of a catchphrase of mine. The only thing better is how it sounded, because the Atmos mix on this is, again, I can't keep using the word revelation. It is absolutely, for a movie of this year, 1973, I think they shot it, came out in 74, and it sounds amazing. As soon as you put it on, and you start the music kicks in. Well, in fact, before that, you get the Warner's logo, the old Warner's logo with the beautiful deep reds of the Warner's logo. Then that music begins, and it, again, as I said before about with Atmos audio, the best ones, it's like someone took the walls of the cinema room and pushed them out, took the ceiling and pushed it up, and you get this cacophony of sound right across the front wall. It's not even on the screen, it's across the wall of your cinema room, and it just feels like you're in this massive auditorium. And honestly, the dopiest, stupidest look on my face when this started. I'm like, oh my God, it's great.
Yeah.
And it starts off, and then it goes on, and so I put here 8 minutes in, I think that you get the credits, and I've put that in there as my timestamp. I put another timestamp in at 35 minutes where you get the aerial shot, the first shot of them all doing their kata, their training, and the purity of the white of the tunics just leaps off the screen. It looks like they've just washed it with Ariel Ultra or whatever it is. I don't know what you guys have over there in terms of washing liquid, but it looks like they've just brand new, just washed these things. So you almost need sunglasses on because they're so bright. And then a very cool little Atmos moment at 41:15. And the way you're nodding, I think you might have seen it and watched it. But there is a very cool thing where you've got a sequence where Han is having his little welcome party. and he brings in his protectors, who don't seem to be that good, by the way. They don't seem to last very long. But he brings in his bodyguards, and there's a very cool little Atmos moment where one of them takes an apple, or Han takes the apple and he throws it up in the air, and one of them takes a hair slide out and throws it at the apple, and the apple goes up, the dart goes up, and right above your head you hear like that as it hits it directly above your head, and then it falls, and it happens twice. And I put it back because I thought, if I misheard this, it can't be. There's not an overhead effect. It's Enter the Dragon. And so I went back and watched it again, and no, sure enough, right above your head, you get the little thunk as it hits the apple and it falls. Oh God, it was good. And then as it goes on, you then get the music again. You get the alarms going off when you have the fight in the underground area. Oh my God, it was good. I absolutely loved this film, and I love this disc. It is fantastic. And again, I can't convey how excited I was watching this film.
I think you've done a pretty good job of it.
Okay, good. All right, good. Well, happy day. Well, that's right then, because it was great. So yeah, this is a must buy. Must buy. If you don't own it, fix it.
Okay.
So sorry, mate.
Then let's get to my late breaking news. Because when I just looked up on Kaleidescape earlier, if you look, new 4K arrivals, and I've been checking this for weeks since we knew this was coming, and because I already own it in HD, so I looked it up and I'm like, oh, it new 4K arrivals, and it was the banner while you were talking about the last movie. I was like, oh, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I was like, wait a minute, and it was $24.99. I'm like, oh, I got to sign in. So I signed in, and you could see it just went right to. Now it's like down here. It's like view digital offers, and I'm sure it's for because I already own it. So I click on it and be like, I get it for $9.99. Upgrade. That's what it is.
Nice.
Confirm purchase. So. And we did not rehearse this because I had no idea this was there. And Steve just said, if you don't own it, rectify that. Okay. Right. I just did. And it's like, exactly. And I've been watching it because I was hoping to get it early, but we didn't. It came out today for us, and Kaleidescape has it Atmos. 4K, HDR, all of that. And it's like, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, because I've had that for a while in HD, and I'm like, and as soon as they announced it, but now I'm super excited to watch that. It's great. Hopefully for next week. I don't know if you saw, did you see Footloose is on there? That's another one that just dropped. Footloose and Officer and a Gentleman in 4K. Nice. Yeah. And I already grabbed. I grabbed World War Z and Ferris Bueller's Day Off last week. Remember, I sent you the pictures, and I'm like, I'm kind of limiting myself here. I've set a budget, but I grabbed.
Your budget. Yeah. Blasted right through that.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm still good. I'm still good. I think I might grab Footloose, but I'm going to talk to the wife first because, as I said before, I'm like, I'm trying to budget myself and like. Not buy movies that I'm not immediately going to watch. Right. Because like you buy them and then they sit there and you forget about them and then you end up, oh well.
Yep.
So,
but I know that. I know that only too well.
Yep.
Oh, so just Jordan in the chat just says, so Steve knows this already. I do, but I was lucky enough because Jordan and I often DM. So he says, Steve knows this already. I was lucky enough to grab the Bruce Lee Arrow 4K box set. Absolutely worth the £130 it cost. I agree. But then watch 4K of Enter the Dragon today, an incredible 4K disc. It really is. No one, I mean, we talk about subjective opinions, Deej, but objectively, this is great.
Objective. Oh yeah, it is the experience.
It's just so good. But like this as well, someone again at Warner's has gone, I think they mastered it in 4K a few years ago. And I think when the last Blu-ray came out, that was an upscale of, or a downscale, of course, of the 4K master. But this is the real full bore version. And if this has just been fed through an Atmos, I don't know what you call it, just fed through an Atmos mixer, and that's it, I'd be very surprised. Because this looks like someone's taken some real time to do some work on this, just because of how it looks and sounds. It's awesome. Are you going to pick it up, John, when it comes down a bit, or are you going to rush out and pick it up? Or?
Yeah, well, I'll probably get it pretty soon.
I mean, bearing in mind the martial arts kind of journey we've been on of late, it is, it's a great way to kind of move that on, because it's so
bookend that,
it's great. Yeah, really, really good. I'd highly recommend. Oh, and the little shot that I mentioned last time of Bruce Lee and Han. Bruce Lee there moving them all on. He doesn't think he's on camera, but he is. It is still there as well. They haven't cropped that shot, so it is quite funny. If you know where to look, you can see Bruce Lee. He's smiling and laughing, stood next to Han, and he's kind of willing them all on. He's doing that, trying to push them out to fight. But so good, such a good film.
VJ points out, it's too bad Enter the Dragon is only 4K on Kaleidescape and not HDR.
Oh.
So it's the UHD. It's only UHD. Same with Footloose and Officer and a Gentleman. But
see what it's like though when you've got it now. I mean,
yeah. I have typically not noticed a difference. And it's like if I grabbed the disc and I put in the HDR disc on I haven't noticed that difference. And a lot of times, me and Travis talked about it. He actually backed up on one of his and used the UHD. I know what HDR does, but the 4K ultra high def that's what it is. And I was like, it says on Blu-ray, it's like you have HDR 10 on the disc, so it does have HDR, but. So there's no question it's in HDR. I mean, you'll know that the second it starts. There's no ifs or buts about that at all. Well, give it a go and see. I mean, and then you can always wait for a few months and then pick it up dirt cheap anyway. And then, you got the best of both worlds then if you want it. But your Lumagen will enhance it anyway, won't it? It'll do a decent job of that anyway. So, but it is exceptional. It really is. Sorry, Jordan, actually, the other thing, guys, sorry, fair play to him. I meant to mention that. It slipped my mind. As slippery as my mind is. So Jordan says, the other thing worth mentioning, it is the 4K disc is both theatrical and special edition cuts. So you've got the extra bits at the beginning with the philosophical stuff. And I think it's really nice. It's worth having. Very true. Very true. Cool.
There you go. Oh, we got someone new in. Let me just try these. Sorry, mate. I know
Magic
we're moving
Lakes.
on, but... Magic Lakes, okay. So someone new in the chat. Hello, Magic Lakes. If it's your first show, welcome. Jump right in. The water is warm. Apologies for all the double entendres.
Right.
And Magic Lakes
Steve's
says,
fault that it's warm.
Well, I look and yes, quite it is warm, yes, and I've already been thoroughly embarrassed by DJ's daughter. Put me on the spot. It's all right. I'll line it up. I'll remember. It's fine. I'll get my own back.
I
know. So Magic Lake says, very lucky to own the Golden Harvest collection out here in the US. Okay. Picked up Enter the Dragon Steelbook as well. Fond memories of Enter the Dragon as I watched in the theatre when it came out.
Oh, wow.
Heady days. Magic Lakes is quite old.
Yeah.
Exactly. We all are, though, to be fair.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We just have a few. That's it for our home theater experiences this week, right? Everybody's done.
Yeah. There's not much new out this week, is there? I don't think.
We have a couple
next week.
So
yep.
But all right, ready. And for August 15th, we have Roman Holiday, which we've seen bandied about on Twitter.
There's never been a better time to get away.
You guys hear
with a great deal on the Hyundai
we hear it.
Always wanted.
I thought we weren't sponsored.
It's your journey. Own every mile at the Hyundai Getaway sales event.
Why are we
Now's the
hearing
time
that?
to get in and get away.
That's funny. Back the truck up. Why did we get that? And I don't even know where
I don't know, but
from.
and to be honest, I already own a Hyundai, so I don't need another one.
Right.
That was weird. All right. Well, hey, welcome to the podcast. I said I'd never do commercials on purpose. So, but anyways, Roman Holiday. And this is, I think,
Brought
Ralph
to you
is-
by...
Yeah, exactly. Hyundai. That was weird. So, somebody said it looks like Pee Wee Herman. It does. Looks like that image from Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
I've never seen it. I don't know anything about this film. I've never even heard of it until it was on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Gregory Peck, Audrey Hepburn. Come on, the classic. No, haven't seen it either.
Never heard of it.
All right, so that one's, and that's from 1953. But we also have what's this? City of the Living Dead. Come on, Steve.
Yeah,
You seen this?
do you know what? I know, but then it's not George A. Romero, is it? It looks to be one of the Italian directors by the look of the bottom right corner. I never seen it. I can't say I've heard of it. I've heard of a title like that, but no, not seen it. Looks to be looks to be an Italian movie, but yeah,
Lucio
okay.
Fucci.
Yeah, come on, John. Come on, mate. You are a registered.
I can't read it.
Our resident Italian
Here's the director.
scholar.
There you go.
Hey,
Here's the director.
Lucio.
Lucio
I thought that was
Fulci.
a T. There you go.
You should along the bottom. It shouldn't just say overview movies. There should be recipes as well.
Yeah.
You know, there should be.
Native 4K HDR10 aspect ratio 185 to 1. But audio DTS Master Audio 2.0. So I don't know. It's from 1980. And last but not least, we have maybe least, I don't know. Babylon 5.
You
Home.
guys are into this, aren't you? Babylon 5. I mean, I never saw it. I don't. Yeah.
I watched the show. I've never seen this movie, but
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be Jonathan Frakes in the front and center there, or not?
No.
That's someone else. Looks like him though.
a little bit. But yeah, he wasn't part of that franchise.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
See, that's
John,
my Star
I've never
Trek
seen
knowledge
the
stuff.
show. Is the show anything like Space 1999 from when we were kids?
Well,
That's
a
what
much
this
higher
image kinda looks
production
like to me.
budget than that.
Well,
I mean, it was one of those 90s sci-fi shows, you know, a
Yeah.
la Star Trek. And
was this 90s?
I think so.
Yeah, and Deep Space Nine and all that sort of stuff. It was
Yeah.
around about the same kind of time.
Yeah, it was
wasn't it? I think.
decent. It was a decent show. I mean, I didn't watch it religiously like I did Star Trek, but I've seen quite a bit of it.
Yeah. It doesn't
I never
say
saw,
what
like I said, never did see the movie though.
Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't say what it was. What it was from. But, the movie's from 2023. Says it was
That's
2023.
pretty new.
Is it just a remaster, a reissue? It can't be from
don't know.
2023, can it?
Yeah.
No,
I
it
don't
says
know.
right. I mean, it says on the thing.
Yeah, it said it on there. Yeah, I saw it.
2023 right there.
Wow.
That's usually the year it was from.
The show was years and years before that. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the show was from the 90s. It was out
Yeah.
with Deep Space Nine. I was working at a video game
Like
store. at the time. We
Farscape, I
sold it.
think I was watching
Yes.
as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So just got a
Heady days.
yeah.
got a couple of listener experiences here. So let's play that sounder just for fun. All right, and the first one we have is Graham Cole. I grab it quickly. I lost a bunch of them that I had saved before. But we got Graham Cole says, well, John, why don't you read this and I'll grab the other one.
It says, so the past few weeks, my wife has joined me rewatching Game of Thrones, and it's been amazing. My wife is now asking to turn off the lights and things to make the viewing experience better to enjoy that 4K HDR sweetness.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
Yep. I tweeted back. I'm like, soon she'll be listening to home theater podcasts.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's awesome
Yeah.
when it gets contagious like that, and people. I mean, that's all we want is people to enjoy it with us. So, congratulations, Graham. And then we have this one from our buddy Paul. So, Steve, why don't you grab that?
Yeah, so Paul Hurt, a tweet says, apologies for shouting out a different podcast. But Soundstage Audiophile have a new episode that I'd say is worth a listen with legendary ex-Dolby and THX guru Anthony Gramani. I hadn't heard of it. It's an audiophile podcast, though, so obviously there's someone who is
Soundstage
50-50 on
audiophile.
picture and audio. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Soundstage Audiophile podcast. It's the one that Brent Butterworth used to be on, and now he's on his own. And but this one here, I haven't heard this yet, but I'm going to be checking. I'm going to check that out. So, but yeah, with Anthony Gramani, we talked about Brett Bjorkquist is actually working with Anthony Gramani. Brett was on the show like a month ago or so, and we talk about that in a few weeks. Travis was on. We recorded yesterday, and we were talking about Anthony Gramani's speakers, and he's got this whole system everything's connected through Ethernet, and it's all and. Brett had talked about it as well, and they're able to monitor your system. It's pretty cool. I don't want to get into it and spoil the conversation Travis and I have, but it's there's a lot of good stuff coming in the future soon if you've got the money, but in the future, a lot of good stuff, and I'm sure a lot of it's in this podcast as well. So definitely check that out. And hey, no need to apologize for shouting out other home theater podcasts. If you find them, if they're good, they're good. Hey. That's how people hear about us too. So cool. Right.
Another one news just in. So this has come from our elderly friend Magic Lakes, who says, "Highly recommend Vertical Limit." Oh yeah, it's a good one. Soundtrack is quite amazing with a generous dose of LFE as well. I thought for a minute whether it was going to say life. LFE as well. Good workout for your HT setup, and hopefully this receives a 4K upgrade down the line. Yeah, Bill Paxton, Chris O'Donnell. I think that was a Martin Campbell movie as well. I think it was. It was a sort of a bit of a rip-off of Cliffhanger. It's good though. It's a fun film. You guys seen that?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Don't remember.
It's a film that makes a character out of pulmonary edema.
Yeah,
about the lungs bleeding and stuff. Yeah, it's good. It is good. It's good fun.
The movie poster for it looks exactly like Cliffhanger.
So, it wants to be. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, nice. Good recommendation, though, Magic Lake. It is good. I've got it on Blu-ray. I need to visit that at some point. It's a Sony disc, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, all right. See, John, you were worried. There you go.
Never worried.
That was good. We had fun. Good show. A lot of good stuff. You got anything? You got any ideas on what you do? You got in the pipeline for next week?
Who? Me? Anyone?
Yeah, anybody?
Me? Oh, I've got loads. I still haven't started The Last of Us, the 4K discs. I've got Ferris Bueller. I haven't started yet, which I really want to see. I've got lots and lots and lots that need to be watched. I bought The Founder the other day, the biopic about McDonald's.
It's a great movie.
Which I haven't seen. Yeah, Carl Ellsworth was saying how good it was as well.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that, so I bought that as a blind buy.
Not the McDonald's in Coming to America. You mean the real one?
Not McDowell's. No,
McDowell's.
Golden Ox. Yeah, not McDowell's. No, yeah, it's McDonald's. And so I've got loads that I need to catch up on, and of course, Game of Death, and Game of Death 2 in the Golden Harvest box set as well. So more Bruce Lee in my immediate future.
Nice.
So we're not done with that just yet.
What was it Death Proof? Was that the Stallone one?
Death Proof was Tarantino's was the Planet Terror Death Proof.
That's right.
Yeah.
Grindhouse. That's it. Yeah.
Grindhouse.
Yeah, with Kurt Russell as the stuntman Mike.
What was the Stallone one that was like that? There was a Stallone car one like that where it was
not Cobra.
Not Cobra. No.
There's a car in that.
Yeah. There was
not Death Race with Statham. He had he was at a thing. No,
it was much older. I'll have to look it up. I don't know why that just jumped into my head. But that older movie. But all right, that will do it for this week. Let me see what we got for comments. Everybody in the chat, thank you for a lot of fun. Thank you, Magic Lakes. If it's your first time here, thank you for joining us. VJ says Anthony Gramani is worth a listen. Always, actually, just anytime you can find him. And look at that, Mikey Schramm. Have a great week, gentlemen. Time to check out Fast X. I think he's talking to you, Steve.
He's not,
Yeah. All right. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to everybody out there. Email me at DJ@Brightside Home Theater. Any questions or comments for the show? That's how we're gonna emails only. If I have nothing, I'll just scroll through Twitter just to grab a couple. But I lost a bunch. We had a bunch, but get those coming. I'll just screen grab them. We'll drop them into the show. Thank you everybody for your patience in these last two shows have been a little bit Death Race 2000. That's what it was. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, buddy. That's what's so great about the chat. I've done I've done a bunch of Takeover Tuesdays recently. I'm like booked out weeks and already in the can, done. And you'll hear us in the conversations. I'll be like, oh, what the hell are we thinking of? And I immediately thank you, everybody in the chat. It's become a habit. I look to that side of the screen and go, oh crap, we don't have a chat.
It's not live.
And it's not live. So I'm like, all right, we got no help, so we're screwed. But yeah, anybody, if you want to join me, we got, I just booked another one that I'm going to be recording in a few days. But yeah, thank you to everybody that has already responded. But if you want to get on to Takeover Tuesday, just email me, dj@brightsidehometheater.com, and we'll get you booked up. And lots of fun. Had a lot of fun. Travis was yesterday. We had new Zach talked to. Danny came out today. We got some going. I got one special one where we're going to get angry. Coming up in it. You won't hear that till the end of the month, but it's going to be fun. But all right. Follow us on Twitter. At John Saccone or at LegalBeagleOK, at BrightsideHT. You can follow us there, join the community, have some fun. You can support us on Patreon. You can support us with boxes of popcorn, and you can do all of that by going to brightsidehometheater.com, and it's right there on the homepage. All the stuff's there. Links are in the show notes. Boys, anything else? Am I forgetting anything else?
Nope.
No, all covered.
All right. For me, for John, for Steve, for The Trench, thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in.
You said that, I didn't.
And Misty Woods.
What he said.
What? Oh, The Trench?
What he said.
Hey, Fred.
This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.